I'm a mess. Queen trash. Hey guys, it's me, Paradiso or Lewis, whichever one you want to refer to me as. And today I'm switching things up a little bit and hitting you all up with a video of my face. Now I know what you're thinking. Who is that adorable guy with the adorable face? Nobody's thinking that. Today I'm being a little bit clickbaity, but not so much, because I genuinely want to talk about something that has had me perplexed for the longest time. If you follow the simming community on YouTube, you'll know that it consists of a lot of nice and outgoing, extroverted people that just have a passion for the game and really enjoy communicating with each other. And that's great and everything, but one of the downsides to this is that in some instances the community is literally too nice. And I'm probably going to get like so many people wondering who the hell I think I am. I've been here in the background for a while and I've observed some things, so I'm gonna talk about it. Hey ho, just know there is a little shrine of my entire collection right here. Here's an image of what it looks like so you can see it in all its glory. To make a long story short, I'm trying to say that we are sometimes kind of unobservant to how stingy and crappy we're being treated with this constant release of content that just isn't fulfilling. And I'm talking about The Sims 4. I've kind of given up on The Sims 4 a little bit, like I'm deflated when it comes to The Sims 4, but I'm gonna get into that soon. To give you an idea of what kind of simmer I am and how I feel about The Sims 4 and how I felt about The Sims 4 when it released versus how I feel now, I'm gonna show you a little something. I'm having to ruin my display for this. Don't you therefore, don't do it! Oh my god. Please, thank you, please and thank you. Bless the Lord. RuPaul herself, I am blessed. I want you to know that I was as passionate about The Sims 4 as you guys most likely were on the release. I'm actually one of the people that bought the collector's edition boxed extravaganza-ness thing, and it came with, you know, the USB plumb bob and the handbook as well as the game itself, obviously, and I was very, very happy to receive this after paying about £70 for it a couple of days or maybe even like weeks before the release. And I was super duper excited, as you can imagine. I feel like every simmer was, to see The Sims 4 in all its glory and, you know, live a great life playing this game until I die. But things just didn't go according to plan, and I found myself slowly getting tired of the gameplay and feeling as though some of the promises were broken promises.
I'm getting a little tired of your broken promises.
Broken promises. What this really means is that there are certain areas of The Sims 4 that have just always felt unfinished, and you know that the game was actually unfinished on its release. We didn't have pools, we didn't have toddlers. I mean, they were literally only released like, please don't tell me it was this year. I want to say last year, but if it was this year, oh my god, this is even worse than I thought. You know, essentially there were so many areas of the game that just didn't seem like a finished game. And I feel as though that's kind of stuck with the game as packs have been released. And don't think that I didn't give packs a try. I am still avidly collecting the expansion pack. Oh god. I in fact have all 3 thus far, but for some reason no amount of additional content can change or improve the gameplay for me, and it's so bizarre. I am not responsive to an improved game. I kind of hold high standards because I'm obsessed with The Sims 2, and you can literally play The Sims 2 base game by itself non-stop. It came with like 6 different neighborhoods as well as the ability to create some new ones. So I often look back to that game and compare like is it predecessor? Is that before or after? Well, anyway, I actually go ahead and quite often compare the older game, The Sims 2, to the newer one. When The Sims 3 first released, I thought it was fun and everything. It was a different time back then, so I didn't have like the best gaming rig, so I didn't get the most you know, amazing experience, but at the same time, it kind of got better, and I feel like a lot of you may be able to relate, as expansion packs released, because that's what they're there for. They're an expansion of the game. They are literally there to make the game more enjoyable and to give you more, like in terms of experience. That's why it's expansion. I basically feel that the Sims 4 expansions are very... What do they do, honestly? They give us additional gameplay and functionality, but for some reason, it doesn't go in. Like, I don't think, oh my god, this is a feature that I've always needed. Like, I've just never found myself feeling like that. And the worst part is that I feel as though, you know, within the lovely selection of expansions here, there are some expansions that were missing content on their release, because EA/Maxis or the combination whatever wants to release that in a game pack or a stuff pack. And I don't think that's cool. This has been, as I said, like an ongoing feeling of just, it just seems like we're being a little bit, you know, sheepish. And I'm not cool with it. I honestly kind of think The Sims 4 so far is trash. One thing that's always stuck with me as well is going back to the release, it was just very kind of, listen, you're gonna get what you're given, so just adjust to it, just enjoy it. And I really thought that I would be able to do that, but I was wrong. Now there's one very important point I want to make, and that is, you know, as Simmers, as fans of the franchise, we should be able to have an opinion. And any of the views I may make in this video are reflective of how I feel about the franchise as a whole. It's not just The Sims 4, because The Sims 4 as a standalone game can be an enjoyable experience. But when you've played the original Sims, The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, it kind of becomes difficult when comparing it to a game like The Sims 4 to see how underwhelming it can be in comparison. And I know that that's such a tough thing to say, but it's true. A lot of Simmers on YouTube tend to go down the route of, okay, well, it's a standalone game, let's not compare it. But you need to compare it, because it's the 4th generation, and it seems like a step backwards. And I can be honest and say to you that maybe I haven't utilized that amazing feature to its full, like, capacity, but at the same time, it's underwhelming. Don't at me. One of my last points, because I literally don't want to go on a massive tangent, I want to now quickly go into talking about personality types. You know, the game, when it was first announced, was very much so revolving around emotions and personalities and the ability to no longer create two Sims that are essentially the same. And I was very excited because as somebody that plays The Sims 2 that has an amazing personality system, I don't know if you guys have ever played around with that, but it is literally so good for its time. It's so well formatted. Now, as I said, I don't know if you're familiar with that system, but one of the greatest advantages of it, and by the way, you're going to see that I move around a lot and use my hands. I totally do that when I'm recording voiceovers, just be aware. Anyways, one of the better features in The Sims 2 that I feel as though no later games have been able to conquer would be the way that Sims developed and responded to their personality, like traits, you know? Now obviously in The Sims 2 we had the OG little point system where you dragged up whether or not your Sim was nice, you know, outgoing, shy, blah blah blah. And one cool thing about The Sims 2 in particular is that there's a range of different animations, both hidden and both accessible, that play according to your Sim's personality traits. And obviously that's something that's carried on to the later games, because in The Sims 3, if you have a Sim that's shy or you have a Sim that loves the outdoors, they may just do like a, and this is an example for loves the outdoors, feel happy that they're outside and you get a little moodlet. Is it moodlet? Mood icon? Mood thingy. I haven't played The Sims 3 in a while, guys, but I'm gonna try and get that on my channel soon, so stay on the lookout. My point here still stands that, you know, The Sims 2 did it best. It basically allowed you to tell your Sims' personalities apart. And I don't know if that's something that everyone looks at under a microscope, like me, but hey, I do, and I really respect that, and I think it was just, as I've already said, so well done. Now if I compare this to The Sims 4, where I literally feel like every Sim I create is the same Sim with a different face. As I've already said, I don't know if other people relate, but as a storyteller, I just find it extraordinarily difficult in The Sims 4 to differentiate, to tell the difference. My sim that's supposed to be like dark and evil and, you know, kind of introverted, they literally bounce around whenever they're happy. And you can't have a sim that's like consistently sad. Their moods fluctuate, and then they start doing these over-animated, cartoony kind of gestures and walk styles that just disregard everything you've chosen for the sim in the first place. I do think that the emotion system was an interesting touch. It honestly isn't anything new in terms of the idea of emotions, because Sims have always reacted to stuff and felt a certain way. In my Black Widow LP, Jennifer is literally still angry to this day about her being burgled in like part something, I can't remember. I am a great simmer on YouTube. Anyway, my point here is that she's still angry about it, and she literally gets angry. There's a fire sound effect and she stomps on the floor and looks aggressive, and that's an emotion. And that's a realistic portrayal of emotion, because you don't feel one emotion for a long period of time and then just snap out of it and feel like something completely different. As a simming channel, I feel as though my views and opinions should be publicized on here. And I know, I'm aware, it seems as though I am slating The Sims 4, because I am, but I want you to know that this isn't a reflection of my thoughts on EA or the entire Sims franchise, because I am a super fan. I don't want to hear any kind of comments that basically state, hey, you can't be a super fan if you don't like The Sims 4. Listen, I still like The Sims 4. I still play it. It's a part of a franchise that I adore, so I'm bound to kind of be a little bit more lenient. As somebody that loves this franchise so much, I just can't deal with the kind of fakery and not seeing anyone that shares a similar opinion to me in this community that are vocal about it. So that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, collector's edition. This is my kind of little way of saying, hey haters, I bought this so you can't clock me. But make sure to let me know if you maybe feel the same way. Correct some of my views if you do have like genuine constructive criticism or just genuine insight that I may have missed. I will be back at you with a new video soon enough. Having a couple technical difficulties, my microphone has decided to stop working temporarily. It's hard to explain. I recorded an entire part of the Black Widow challenge and the mic wasn't on, so I'm gonna deal with that. But I will be back soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. XOXO Paradiso.